this morning, but I was reminded this week when we got great news at the church that God is still on the throne. I was reminded this week that this is still the year of the incredible. Don't let nobody, no one, and nothing catch you out. Because it hasn't been done don't mean it won't be done. Oh, somebody say favor is on me. Favor is in my life. I can have what he say I can have. Be what he say I can be. And do what he say I can do. Favor is on me. Favor is kept all around me. Favor is on the inside of me. For the God I serve is a yes and amen God. Everything the devil took from you, God is getting ready to multiply. Everything the devil thought he took, God gave. He had to remove the old so he can give you the new. Look at yourself and say, I'm new and improved. I'm new and improved. I'm new and improved. The devil thought he had my marriage. Oh, somebody said the devil thought he had my family. Oh, but you weren't doing nothing but strengthening us. What the devil meant for evil, God turned it around for my good. What the devil meant for evil, God placed my feet on solid ground. My God is good. Any warriors, God-fearing warriors in here tonight? Is there anybody in here today who walk 2 miles for a good spiritual fight? I'm 2 miles for a good spiritual fight. Who got problems? Who need prayer? Who got problems? Who need an intercessor? Who's sick and need deliverance? Who dark in a dark place and need light? Come see me. I'm a warrior for God. There's nothing too hard for my God. Some of you keep going through the same thing over and over through this vicious cycle because you refuse to declare your victory. You've become so acquainted with this pain until this pain has become your Messiah. But all you have to do is reach up and claim your victory. All you have to say is, yeah, I slowed down for a minute. I got tied up for a minute. I was distracted for a minute. I lost my way for a minute. But that's all right. I'm here today. And the God I serve is a present help. God told me to remind you Thursday that this morning, this is still the year of the incredible. It's not over. It's not over that God says it's over. I don't care what you're going through. Look at that thing and say, what don't break me, gonna make me stronger. What don't break me, gonna make me stronger. And the more that thing try to make a public spectacle out of me, the bigger the stage is. God gonna bless me. Look at my stage. I'm a mighty warrior. Yeah. Yes, I am. opportunity to speak your word into the earlobes of warriors. Thank you in advance for what you're doing, getting ready to do through your word. We thank you, Lord, for power that's omnipotent and for you being always forever omnipresent. Thank you for what you're doing already in this place. You declared in your word that you inhabit the praise, so that means you are here. Now today all we want to do is walk with you, glorify your name and magnify it next to you. All of our faults, our desires and our sins, we ask forgiveness. We forgive others so that we are forgiven, so that we move forward this morning. Lord, we want this praise today to be authentic. We want our souls to be cleansed. Give us a new slate, God. We thank you this morning. And God, our minds are set free from any stronghold. Loose us. Any burdens, God, that try to behold us. Move us, shift us, transition us, revive us, restore us, educate us, God. Thank you this morning. Yes, Lord, thank you. Thank you, God. Only you, Father. Only you this morning. You're the answer to all our problems. Yes, you're the resolve in every area of our lives. I thank you in advance for using William. Speak through this temple like never before. Help these people to believe, God, that you are real. That besides you there is no other. And you said that the day will come when we'll have to choose a side who we gonna ride with. Lord, today champions ride with you. Oh God, we fight on your behalf, God. Oh, our life represents you, Father. In your Son, Jesus' name. Now today, God, give us the authority. Refurbish it in our souls so that we can speak to these mountains in our lives. Be thou removed and cast into the sea. Oh, we thank you in your Son, Jesus' name, as we hold our hands high, Lord, in reverence of the mighty, almighty, majestic God. And we just want to say thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for being a way maker. Thank you for being the source to all our resources. Thank you for being God. If you believe that prayer this morning, put your hands together. And I don't care what's been in you that's hindering you. Grab back one at a time. And when you scream, you release anything that's not like God in you. Release it. Release it. Think about it now for the last time. But I will never see you no more. Say yeah! Yeah, yeah! Yeah, yeah! Let it go! Let it go! Let it go! Let it go! Somebody say yeah! Yeah, yeah! Let it go! Let that fear go! Let it go! Let that worry go! Let it go! Let handstands go! Let it go! Chase the lion. Chase the lion. I want to read one verse this morning from there. 2 Samuel there. You can have your seat. Verse number 20. Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, a valiant fighter from Capzir, performed great exploits. He struck down Moab's two mightiest warriors. He also went down into a pit on a snowy day and he killed a lion. High five 2 or 3 people. Tell them, chase the lion. Chase the lion. Chase the lion. Yes. Chase the lion. only way you're going to get to the next place is you got to move. That's the only way you're going to become successful. You have to move. Too often we stay in the same place, be it jobs or whatever it may be, where we wait on people to determine our feelings. We allow people to dictate our emotions. I can speak for myself. Many times in marriage, I've allowed my wife to dictate my emotions. In the morning, if she wasn't feeling good and she might have woke up a little cranky, it might jack up my day. She didn't intend to. She was just having a bad day, but it got on me. And I know I've done it where she said good morning, and I came, and I just wasn't feeling right. I was tired or whatever. I won't speak again. It's amazing how when you're chasing lions, you don't allow trivial things to distract you. Benaiah didn't allow trivial things to distract him. There was no way he could not chasing lions. And as we conclude this series today, that's one of the points I want to home in on is quit letting things distract you. It's never because you don't have it in you, because God knew his thoughts concerning you before you were born. They were good and not of evil, but to give you an expected end. So before you were born, he gave you everything you needed. Amen. You just chose to utilize certain things. We choose to utilize certain things, but the one constant, Deacon Dixon, in our lives are excuse. We can cherry pick other things that we'll use at certain times, but the one thing we want to remain with us all day, every day, are excuses. Because if I have an excuse with me all the time, that means I have an option. And if it gets too hard, or I feel that it stretches me, I have the option to retreat. When you retreat, you take 2 steps back, and it's that much harder to move forward. You can't chase lions giving yourself options. When you're chasing lions, it's all or nothing. I like how they say, for God I live, and for God I die. It doesn't say for God I'm crippled for, or for God I shout sometimes. It says for God I live, and for God I die. That means God is at this point the nucleus of the rest of my life. That's how you chase. We have to look back and say, what is the defining point, or what is the nucleus of my life? And whatever the nucleus is, that's what drives you. So you can't say that God is the nucleus of your life, but you're driven by your flesh. Your decisions come from how you feel. You feel like you've been left behind. You're a late bloomer. You're starting too late. No. Has nothing to do with that. What's driving you today? What made you get up this morning? Were you made to come? Were you feeling guilty to come to church? I hadn't been. I just want to go today. Or I'm really in need of prayer. I just need one of the ministers to pray for me this morning. That's why I really came, because I need a touch. But you don't get rich spiritually just acting on need. Amen. Because what happens when the need is dissolved? You know what it is in relationships. They tell you he's with you for your money. You refuse to believe it until your income tax check is gone. And once the income tax check is gone, Brother Bear, then he's gone. You can't work at places that other people want you to work. You can't have a career that other people feel you should have. You can't do jobs that other people feel you should do. You have to, at some point in your life, come to the conclusion that this is what I was made for. God built me for this. And I know that nobody else in here see it, and that's great because you're not me. Yeah. When you start looking at yourself like that and start understanding the value that's in you, you'll be ready to chase. And the amazing part, when you really start chasing lions like that, people start to follow. Because you're just being who God created you to be. In the end, God will not say to us, well said. Or he won't say well thought, or he won't say well planned. God is only going to say well done. Well done means he's looking at your action. and not just what you verbalize. I don't care how often you go to church or you don't go to church. What are you living? Because there are some people who come to church, and this is where I am today. There are too many people coming to church that don't know this book. And that's not the sin. The sin comes in when they're not trying to learn the book. I go every week, but I don't study it. I just sit there like some type of disabled spirit, and I just receive, and that's all I get. I get fed twice a week, but I'm living 7 days a week. So what's happening the other 5 days a week when I'm not continuing to be fed? My sin is coming from me being malnourished spiritually. So when I want to chase, I don't have enough spiritual strength to chase what I really need to chase in the spirit, because chasing something in the spirit means that it has to derive from the power that's in my spirit. If I don't have nothing there, I'll quit, because at some point when I'm chasing things spiritually in the supernatural, I'm going to be asked to chase something I can't see how I can conquer. Oh, Lord, I can't see this. I'm barely making it on this. And God got me doing, yes, God got you doing that. God, why I got to do it by myself? God said, I want to separate you from all of your friends that are really distractions. That's the easy part. Mary Dixon, the hard part is God getting you away from you. That's the hard part. When God has to start separating the wheat from the tare, he's separating the flesh from the spirit. That's the tough thing there, because those things are going to always battle. Come on, Pastor. And I can't chase when I'm confused. I can't chase when I don't have any strength. Samson said it best when he was between the two columns. When he said, God, just give me strength one more time. Let me just have enough strength one more time between the two columns when Delilah had tricked him. He told his secrets. My strength was in my hair. And nowhere else in the Bible do you hear strength in the hair. God said, I need to put the strength in the spirit. See, I need to put the strength somewhere in where it can't be physically touched. Oh my God. I know this right here, Keith, because that's what made, I should have kept with Job, because that's what made me say with Job, now, you can touch him everywhere else, but his soul belongs to me. His spirit belongs to me, because you can't touch that. That has to be touched by him. Him being the individual. So there are certain places in your life people can't touch without your permission. Yeah, they can't touch your spirit without your permission. So people can't make you sin. Come on, talk about it. They touch your permission. They got your permission to touch a desire that was increased to make you want to sin. Because normally it takes a lot for somebody to make you want to sin. It has to ball. It gets to a boiling point. You'll walk away for a minute. And then they just keep on just nagging at you till they finally get you to the breaking point where you just go off. And that's cool in the game with that person down in Hades, because that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to get you to the point where you're too distracted to chase. So you make excuses. I'm divorced, so you ain't the first. You won't be the last. You just won't. Sometimes it just ain't a good mix. Sometimes spirits just go jail. Sometimes people are unequally yoked. We never find that out before we get married. And then we look puzzled when it happens when we're married. Schizophrenic saints. Those are schizophrenic saints when they don't do the research, and then when the obvious come up that they didn't think would be the obvious, because they were hoping instead of working. That's why people don't like to come and get marriage counseling with me and my wife, because we hold nothing back from ourselves to you. We're going to ask the questions. It's not a pretty session. You don't leave our session saying, let's go get cupcakes, or let's go get some Baskin Robbins ice cream. You leave our sessions looking at the person like, is this worth working through? If this really worth working through. Yes, anybody who came to the council said, you go and pay and get the other people downtown to do it, and yeah, I got my counsel and such and such, but I promise you, everything we got coming from the book, I believe in. Amen. And I'm going to try to touch every subject that causes us to divorce. And we're going to talk about it. That's how you chase. You prepare. You continue to girt yourself up. You continue to prepare yourself through life for the great opportunities that are ahead of you. That's what it looks like. God is only going to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And a lot of people were sitting here today, and this is one of the things that's really getting me with the church as we're studying on Wednesday nights. It is, you can do nothing wrong and still do nothing right. You can do nothing wrong and still do nothing right. You know, I got one friend, God bless him. Every time something go on in our little circle, the first thing he say, that ain't my business. He always say, that ain't my business. I'm like, you can't continue to be my friend if I'm going left and it ain't your business. That means you don't care if I crash. I understand now why Jesus said, I'll stick closer than any brother. Because he's going to tell you through conviction, baby, you're going the wrong way. You got to be careful who you say your friends are, because everybody ain't trying to chase the lion with you. Some of them, while you hunting the lion, they're hunting you. That's why they stay behind you. That's why they never lead you. They always tell you and they always direct you because they're plotting to kill you. You chasing the lion thinking they're chasing the lion with you, but look back and say, how many times have they sacrificed for me the way I've sacrificed for them? No, I'm not doing a penny for a penny. I just want to say this is the truism of what I'm dealing with here today. In 2 Samuel, he's talking about chasing lions. And the only way you can chase a lion, I can't have distractions. And for you, it's going to be chasing greater opportunity. And you can't afford to let distractions get you. So a lot of us can't chase lions because spiritually, Detra, we're so polluted. We become convoluted with trash. I'm filled up, but what I'm filled up with, it's no good. The songs you used to sing, they don't move you no more. Someone asked the question, why you believe? Now when you hear that song, now it makes your flesh crawl. You're like, I'm not a kid. I need something that's more spirit touching. Because let me tell you, things change. As you grow in Christ, things that once taste good don't taste good no more. Things that keep you going mentally don't keep you going mentally no more. That's why you say old things will pass away. When I was a child, I thought as a child and I spoke as a child. But when I became a what? A man, I put what? Childish things away. So what he's saying is, in the beginning you was in the playground playing with the kittens. But when I became a man, he said, now you got to go out there and hunt them. Yeah, you know, and for us it would be when I was young, we used to play doctor. You know, the men always was the doctor. And the women back then was always the nurse. You never had women back then saying, I'm the doctor. You know, this crowd here, I can't do nothing with it. The women never said, I'm the doctor. The women always said, I'm the nurse. Society has set us up for the one species that I think is the one species that is treated the worst. Female black women.
Oh, you talk.
I know, men, I know. No, it's the men, no. It was the women. The only thing they could do to a black man was beat us. It's something else when you take a woman's soul and have to continue to keep on. It's tough, hard to chase. But it had been in the mindset. And then one day somebody, a woman probably said, I'm just as smart as him. I can be a doctor. And it started coming. What about the internal battles that we as a race has overcome? One day there'll be a female president. There will. And I'm at the point now, I'm like, they might do better. They can't do no worse. And from what I'm seeing, from my beliefs, okay, they can't. Chasing lions, when you think about chasing lions, you throw out concepts like breaking even. If I just break even. When you break even, you break bad. Yeah. There's nothing like gambling and you just get your money back. There's nothing to gain. There was everything to risk. We do everything in life to win. And that's the problem. Dr. Marks, we've been taught that life is about success. And that's why we're not chasing, Sister Barry, because we've been reared to believe that life is strictly success. So I'm not successful unless I'm playing in front of 100,000 people. Or I'm not successful unless I'm preaching in front of 20,000 people daily. But that's not it. We chase success our whole lives and never chase the true lion. I chase trying to get this, live in this certain subdivision, or chase want to be married because we deem marriage as successful. And so you ask 100 women and do a poll. We're playing defense too much as a body of Christ, not champions. I think champions is moving. From the testament to testimonies I'm getting, champions moving. But I'm talking today plurally from the aspect of a global concept of Christianity. We're playing too much defense. We're too afraid. We only feel comfortable in this house about our religion. We don't feel comfortable going to the store. I go to the store with an Avon t-shirt on and feel more comfortable than a t-shirt that says God is real. Why is it, man, that we claim and we sing hallelujah and glorify verbally, but James, we won't do it physically to show it through our actions that this is who I serve. This thing is not play. We was talking Wednesday night about this new nation coming on, and all they want to do, they want to be aggressive in their belief. But I like how my Jesus said, I won't force me upon nobody. Amen. When you force, you have already set boundaries. That means there's nothing good going to come out of it but a break. There's no room for grace, no room for mercy, because everything is stemmed off of something so concrete. That there's no, it's amazing to me. And I think we talked about it in class. Sister LaSarah said she had came up on one of these Israelites and they were, I'm the Israelite lady. I mean, they just come at you so aggressive. And she was like, if I didn't know God, I would have been like, whoa. Yeah. And I've been just thinking about that lately. Like, what we've read is where we're headed. Because history repeats itself. Where we've read in the Bible about those who had to fight for Christ and they were hiding to preach the word and out in the fields, it's happening. Look over in the east. Look over in the far east how many people was out there and they just got tired of hiding, and so they prayed, Mayor Dixon, about God on the beach, and they all were killed. This recently, I ain't talking about a movie. We put everything else before God. Or then we say that God is real until it's time to live it. We won't chase him. We won't chase God. When do we start playing offense? Some of your angels are bored. He says the angels of grace and mercy shall always be with us. Some of your angels are bored. They're asking God to go out and reassign them because you're not playing offense. I wish I had a witness in here. It's true. God has put so much in you until it's ridiculous, but you refuse to get up and move on it. You contemplated for 5 years. No God spoke to you, and you still sitting on it. buying every CD for Chase the Lion. At some point, you're going to have to get out there and help me say, move. You got to move at some point. You can't be on your job and stay in the same position 30 years. You didn't get better. You really got worse because you lost the opportunity to continue to learn. You lost the opportunity to start leading. So now you succumb to that person over you who has no spirit in them, leading you, and then you're frustrated. You know why you're frustrated? It's not because of that person. You're frustrated because you're somewhere you shouldn't be. It's never the individuals. Always look at yourself. Always do a self-assessment first. When you become irritated and where you are feels like a rash, it's not the people. Look at yourself and say, why am I feeling like this? I'm feeling like this because I shouldn't be here. God has told me it's time to move. And I'm in the same place. I'm at the same church. Some people at the same church that Mama went to 20 years and 50 years ago. And it was a good church back then, but times have shifted. But this is how they did it in my church. Old things have passed away. If that be the case, I'll be expecting y'all to be bringing billy goats in here on Sunday and doves in here and laying them at the altar. But times have changed. We have to stay relevant with the times. The only thing that's eternal is God's word. It has an answer for everything that we will endure. So if I'm in the word, I'll stay relevant. I'll stay relevant. I know this is true because before Jesus met the soldier, the centurion soldier, all people thought that Jesus had to come and physically lay hands on them, chase a lion. And Jesus said, take me to him, the soldier, your servant. And the soldier said, no. If you speak it. I know how I have authority over my men. And if I say it, they do it. I believe that you have authority over illness, Jesus. That if you just say it, Jesus, I know that he will be cured. Now this soldier didn't know what Jesus had did. He had made the little girl come back to life. How many people he had made come back who were lame, made the lame walk, the blind see. He didn't have no idea. But what he did know is that this person I'm talking to is the lion. And if he can do it for others, regardless of the crimson I have on, he'll do it for me. And I found out, Fred, that a lot of people don't think God will do it for them because they only know 2 Bible verses. Wow. That's not true. He'll do it for you just like he'll do it for me. Amen. He has no perspective person. That's what makes our God so awesome. My God is an awesome God, and he reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is a what? Awesome God. We have to continuously be reminded of this. We have to continue to keep the faith. For the vision is always at the appointed time. A lot of people won't chase the lion because of time. And Morgan, we talked Wednesday about when you're dealing with physical spirituality, you deal with time. And when you're dealing with spiritual physiology, I should say the spiritual being, you deal with something in obedience. Spiritually, I'm dealing with things in obedience. Physically, I'm dealing with things according to time. I'm dealing with things according to time. When time becomes your nemesis, you have succumbed to your flesh. And I know that, listen, I know that's hard because I deal with it too. But Patricia, I have to be reminded. When I get to the point where I'm looking at the time more so than I'm looking at God, or when I'm thinking about the time it takes versus the blessings of God, I have slowly transitioned over to the flesh. And that thing slips up on you so easy. Oh, it's so candid how it does. It slips up on you. Because all I'm thinking about is, when is this going to come to pass? When is this going to happen? I put this in a while back. Such and such. When is it going to happen? And God is saying, what about me? You're not even splitting the time thing that you desire is getting 95% of your time. I'm getting 5% of your time. But you expect me, the one you're giving the less to give you greater. We decided to do our church 501c3 ourselves. We looked at it and like it was, it was pretty costly for attorneys to do it. But my prayer was everything we need is in-house. So me and my wife and Sister Sean got together back in March, April, somewhere up in there. March, and we started working on it. The three of us. On the phone a lot, back and forth. Sister Sean said, Pastor, I believe we can do it. Thursday, we got the letter. Official. We're officially 501c3 in the church. And we did it with the help of God ourselves. Yes. You know how encouraging that was? That for anybody who's dealt with 501c3, that's a, excuse my friend, that's a bugger. How many know what I'm talking about? So that's tough. We did it ourselves, especially for churches. They ask a million questions for churches now because churches have gotten slandered in the process. It came back Thursday. And when you first look at the process, it's intimidating because it's just so much to read and it's so much required. But if we wanted to be greater as a church, if I wanted to make sure this church can fulfill the things that God has for us to fulfill, I had to go through something called being uncomfortable to get us to a place where we can do God's will. And that's what I'm telling you this morning. That's why I'm here this morning. To tell you, don't forget the year of the incredible. This is still your year. It's only like the radiancy from the sun. Do not forget, it's not too late. Keep believing God that what you said don't happen. It ain't over. Keep chasing the lion. I know it hurt, but pain is temporary. It's temporary. Keep digging, keep trying, keep praying, and keep walking. It will happen for you. I said last week that life is not measured by time. It's measured by moments. Life is measured by moments. When you look back over your life, you don't remember everything in every day. You remember moments. I can't remember the hotel we had the prom in when I was a senior, but I remember the dress my wife had on. Ooh, I remember that dress. Ooh, I remember. That blue. Anyway, back to the tape. I don't remember the other details. I remember the moments that meant the most to me, whether it was good or bad. I remember the moments because life isn't measured by time. It's measured by moments. Benaiah had killed 2 men already. Now he's killing a lion, and then he's going on and he's going to kill an Egyptian. He had to do all these things before he can get to where he wanted to be. And he knew I had to do something exceptionally or something phenomenal for me to be noticed. And it's a shame that today phenomenal means obedience. I'm at the point where I have to be phenomenal, but phenomenal isn't as big a word as it used to be. If I'm just obedient now, I'm phenomenal. Because most people aren't. Most people make excuse. Most people give up. Most people listen to other people. Most people don't.
That's right, Pastor.
You would listen to the advice off of somebody you don't know on Facebook before you listen to the advice of Haggai. Listen to the advice of somebody. I don't even know this person. I just friend them because I don't know a lot of people on my Facebook page. I don't know them, but what they said was good. But I won't listen to Samuel. I won't listen to Job. I know the story of Job, but I won't listen. Well, why you say I ain't listening? Because you're not acting. Anytime you don't know if somebody's listening, watch what they do. I love the church. Sure you do. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. I just smile. Because you'll show me how much you love the church by how much you hear. You'll show God how much you love him by how much time you spend with him. Because, let me tell you, things have to change in your life. Sister Claudette, Mother Claudette, let me tell you, you can't love God unconditionally and things not change. Your pecking order, your priorities have to start shifting and things have to start changing. You say, oh, I have to do this first. Now I got to do this first. It ain't that I got to. I want to do this first. I want God to be the head of my life. I want to sing God's praises. I want to sing God's glory. I put God first in my life. And then I start chopping off everything else. And I noticed a lot of those things I won't chop off no more. They'll evaporate. When I'm chasing lions, my priorities change. And I notice my productivity change. All because I changed my priorities. Amen. I understand that God's dream for your life is so much bigger, so much better than breaking even. Your life is better than breaking even. It truly is. You have to remember that. If you focus on not making mistakes, you'll never make a difference. If all you're focused on is not making mistakes, you will never make a difference. Because people who are stretching and trying to get way out, they're going to make mistakes during the process because God knows the process that's going to make them. So I don't know how many times the Wright brothers almost killed themselves trying to fly. But I'm so glad that they kept trying because it don't take me as long to get to New York to get my daughter as it would if I had to drive. They took a risk for the whole world to better itself. And still are not classified as some of the wealthiest people in the world. But think about how many people have benefited from them. How many people have benefited and have new opportunities because of the obstacles they overcame. A lot of times we have to do things for God. Everything you can't be on a payday. Sometimes I do things and to God be the glory. Amen. I just need to bless this person. Why do you need to? I just need to bless this person. Just need to bless him. I think the church we went to a couple of weeks ago, that Saturday morning, I gave my last, whatever it was. I had the money for the pastor and all that, but there was a lady in the back. I gave my last to her. The Lord spoke, and then everybody gave to her as well. After we gave an offering, then gave to the church for the anniversary, I gave. And after that, the next day, God blessed me 8 times greater than what the next day. I can't make this up. The 8 times greater than what I blessed that lady with the little cash I had left in my pants. And I didn't even do it for a blessing. I did it because I saw the need in her life. And God spoke to me to give. And it happened that quick. That's what happens when you get to the point or you're not afraid to trust God. Because a lot of times we get trusting God and making a mistake confused. I thought I made a mistake. God said, that ain't a mistake. You're just unfamiliar, baby. This is what I need. No, don't do that. That don't look right. God said, that's right. That don't look right. You're not able to identify with me in the natural yet because you haven't been with me long enough. I got to start you somewhere. Trust me. That's how you chase. That's how you can't be having these rages and ranting all over Facebook and all this stuff here. And I'm looking at you like, this champion. I just started praying, Lord, help them. They're in a battle today, Lord. Help, tell them to keep the hands up over the face. Keep the hands up over the face so Satan can't beat them in the face. And then if I keep watching Facebook, I'm, Lord, just help them. Tell them just swing. Just keep swinging. Just swing. You know, but that's where we are. A lot of times we look at things as a mistake because we can't identify with God. sure Paul looked at it as a mistake when he was knocked off of the horse on his way to Damascus. The Bible says he was blind for 3 days. What does that feel like? Done it blind for 3 days. But if I knew it took me being blind for 3 days, and when I come out of that, I'll see the way God saw the rest of my life, who wouldn't be blind? Who wouldn't believe? So what we have to do in chasing lions, we have to start changing our perception. Not of things, but change your perception of yourself. You're greater than what you're producing. You're so much greater. There's so much more fight in you than what you're producing. You're making too many excuses. When God says, don't make excuses, be excellent. Yeah. All you got to do is try. Get out. Don't be afraid to get dirty. Oh, yeah. And keep moving. And quit worrying. If people can't talk about you, people don't know about you. Well, you quit telling everybody all your little business, they won't have all your little business to throw right back in your face. Every time you do something, you got to tell Carol, I just did such and such. Carol, I'm finna think about doing such and such. And then if it don't go right, they come back. Yeah, what happened to your little such and such? We got to learn to keep your mouth shut. I mean, it's just the truth. When you lack the guts to go after your lion, you rob God of his glory. When you lack the guts to go after your lion, you rob God of his glory. This glory he so deserves. Amen. The only way God gonna get glory is when you allow him to work. That's the only way God's gonna get the glory. If you do everything, then you take the credit. You know you do. You take credit for stuff you had did now. Yeah. People come over to the house, oh, your yard look good. You thank you. You ain't cut the grass. You won't come out there and say, oh, God bless you, Brother Dorsey did my yard, or Elder Marks did my yard. You won't give them the credit. Oh, thank you. You can't even weed eat. But you take the credit for it. And the reason I say this is because God-sized dreams are beyond our ability. God-sized dreams are beyond our resources. So when we don't get to the point where we're doing things that are beyond our resources, then we're never trusting God. So listen, church, listen to me. So when you want to really draw close to God, do something that's outside of the realm of your comfort zone. Do something that you know, I can't afford this, but I'm going to trust God because God's been speaking to me on this. I don't have all the education they say I need to do this, but I'm going to go out here and do it, and God going to provide resources as I go. He'll start sending ravens, and he'll start sending eagles, and he'll send birds, and he'll send people with some bread to feed you. He'll start sending people when you start walking the way God wants you to walk, because God said, don't walk without me, because at some point, if you're walking with me, you're going to walk into something where you're going to need me. Yeah. I'm your bridge. Oh, yeah. Don't go without me, because there'll come a time when you have to cross over some water that's too deep to swim. Or you're not spiritually down yet enough to fight what's in that water. And some fights I just don't want you to fight. So what God do? He puts a bridge there. He says, now walk over this bridge. I'm your bridge. I'm whatever you need. He says, I'm whatever you need. You need to get to the point where you do something where unless God do it, it can't be done. Get to the point where you say, unless God do it, it can't be done. I'm not giving up on God, so eventually it will come to pass. Amen. Yes, that's where I am. Yeah, unless God can do it, it won't be done. This is precisely how God gets glory. Oh, yeah. This is precisely how God gets the glory out of our lives. When we trust him and get to a place where we're embarking upon something that it takes God to get us through. Now during this time, we're going back to distractions. There are going to be a lot of things that take place. But God got you. God got you. I didn't say it's going to be comfortable, but the reward will be great in the end. I'm telling you, Moses did a lot of things. Mother Brooks, the one thing that people never talk about Moses doing, yeah, he put the staff down, and his snake killed the other two snakes. Yeah, he was a Hebrew, and he grew up as a Hebrew. He grew up in Egypt and got the education and learned, and Pharaoh loved him more than he loved his own son. Everybody talks about everything that Moses did, but nobody talks about the main thing he did to make him be Moses. That's right. The main thing that Moses did. It wasn't open the sea because he never opened the sea. The Bible says out of the nostrils of God, the sea opened. He couldn't put the fire in the sky so they can see at night. No, the one thing that Moses did was be obedient. You look at the life of Moses, and from the time Moses decided to be obedient was the time that he needed God. From that point forward, I can't preach this no better. From the time that he got to the point where he said, I trust you, God. I'll go back. I'm over here with Jethro. He done gave me one of these daughters. I'm good. But I'll go back, man, if you want me to. I'm tongue-tied, but I'll go back. I don't want to. I'm good right here. He said, go back. And it was from that moment on when he said, I'll go. God said, now, everything you need is in your hands. Everything you need today, church, is in your hands. You have to be careful how you praise God. He gave you these hands to clap for him because he's our royalty. Not pick up a joint and smoke a joint. Hand all black and toe up, then you want to put it in the air. He'll accept that if you ask him for forgiveness, but at some point you got to do better. At some point we got to want to do better. Courtney, it got to be in us where I just want to do better. I want to be better. I'm tired of being who I am. And I think everybody needs that once a year. You need to look at yourself and say, what have I accomplished this year for me? What have I accomplished for the Lord this year? And which one am I more tired of? I need more God in me, so I can continue to move. Because ultimately, he's the one I want to hang out with the rest of my life. I want to hang out with him for eternity. If you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one. After this today, I'm going to just go ahead and say this. You will find an excuse to continue to be the lethargic person you are. I don't care how good this is, First Lady. Somebody in here today won't have enough guts to try change. And so they're going to make an excuse. And if you want an excuse, you'll find one. It just ain't working. It just ain't, I'm going to quit. And all you're quitting on is a thought. Yeah. Because if you started moving, you'll start to see a difference. Yeah. So you're quitting on the very thought of what it's going to take to become triumphant. We don't lose doing war. We lose before war. We don't lose doing war. We lose before war. And I'll just say this, please forgive. But yesterday, about 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 Central Time, a war was getting ready to rage. It was some people that came from the Eastern Standard Time that was going over to the Central Standard Time to have a physical conversation with somebody who thought they was better. And all the people around town got wind of the conversation, and the people started siding with the people over in the Central Standard Time, and they didn't give the people in the Eastern Standard Time not a chance. But the problem with that is that the people in the Eastern Standard Time had earplugs in their ears because they refused to be distracted by somebody else's opinion. And I started watching this battle yesterday with a friend of mine who was thinking the same way I was thinking. You have to be careful when you start to indulge in these type of things and make sure you're walking with people who are walking with you. So y'all cheering for the same thing too. Can put 10,000. And And as this thing kicked off, it appeared that these people from the Central Standard Time had way more people cheering for them than the people that were Eastern Standard Time. But I noticed something special about the people who wore the red, white, and black gladiator uniforms. They had made up in their mind that I don't need a lot of people cheering for me as long as I got the right people cheering. And I'm telling you today, don't worry about who's cheering for you and who's not cheering for you. Worry about the right people cheering for you. And there won't be many of them cheering for you because everybody hasn't been designed to go where God got you going. These people went out anyway on Saturday, the few of them. And as they started to proceed in battle, they kicked off something called a football. And it started tough. It started rough because they battled, but after a while, the team from the Eastern Standard Time found a way to score. And I tell you today, I don't know, I'm just only talking to those who can see far like Isaiah. For those who are not afraid of a big vision. Those are the people I'm talking to at this point. Everybody else can be dismissed. Leave your offering at the door. You can go. I'm talking to the people in here now who tired of being sick and tired of other people telling you and dictating your destiny. I'm talking to people now who say today I'm going to get up, hold my head up, and keep moving on fighting to the end. They scored 7-0. And as they scored, something amazing happened. They started to have something they call momentum. When you start doing something and you get a taste of what victory tastes like, you'll want to have it more and more and more. You acquire taste for the finer things in life. And next thing I know, they looked again, and this team from Eastern Standard Time had scored another touchdown. I said, good God Almighty, I got you. Good God, they doing it. What really engulfed me was the fact that everybody was against them. It motivated me. See, lions beget lions. Yeah, lions don't produce Doberman pigeons. The Doberman would have stayed on the porch, but yesterday was a place for lions. We had to put mama and the children to bed. It was time to get off the porch. And I'm telling some of y'all cats in here today, it's time for you to put the wife and children to bed, man, and go off the porch and become a true soldier for Christ. Lead your family from the front and stop making excuses as to why you can't. And start coming up with solutions as to why you can't. Making excuses, then you want your family to cheer for you. Give them something to cheer for. Obligated to man more than you are to God. With a title. Yeah, then you wonder why things ain't going, why you can't be happy. Now you can't be happy because you're looking for success. Yeah, you're not worried. You're not thinking about what it truly takes. It's not success. It's about being fulfilled. Come on. Jesus. We've been looking around at the wrong things, Brother Barry. We've been looking at success. I want to be successful, but successful only lasts temporary. Ain't nothing like being fulfilled. That team from the East scored more, and as they scored, I watched the coach, how the coach ran out there. Yeah, that joint, he didn't care how he looked. And his wife didn't care how he looked either because they was on one accord. The problem with people in the church, you got one of the spouses who believe in and trust it. You got the other one sitting down and the house divided. When your husband get up and go to glory, woman, go with him. If you got to cry and drag your leg, tell him, don't you leave me, honey. We gonna glorify this thing together. We going to the altar together. Why you talk about the husband but won't glorify God with him and then wonder why things not moving. This team from the Eastern Standard Time Zone was over there in the backyard of this team from the Central Time Zone. They was up 14-0. And everything that team from the West tried before halftime, before the referee said you can get a break, they tried some trickery. Oh, they tried trickery. Yeah, but it didn't work. The reason it didn't work, it wasn't because they didn't try it. The reason it didn't work is because the team from the Eastern Standard Time Zone was better equipped and prepared. See what happens in the church when you prepare, no matter what Satan come at you with, Jesus. It don't matter, I'm already prepared and I'm already girded up. Bring it on, Satan. I got on the whole armor of God. And if you got the whole armor of God on, somebody say amen. I got the whole armor of God on. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Both things seen and unseen. I don't have to worry. I don't have eyes in my back. I don't have to, because God got my back, my front, my side, my up and my down. And the church said, back to the text, and I look and see how this team from the Eastern Standard Time Zone in the fourth quarter was up 21-0. And I noticed the sideline. You can see the hunger in their eyes. But they were fighting another gladiator. That team from the Central Time Zone, they were gladiators too. And they started coming back. They started coming back because the general of the Eastern Standard Time Zone went to a zone when he should have stayed man. The general from the Eastern Standard Time Zone, he went zone to try to prevent. When he was in man, he dictated. Stop trying to prevent and play defense. Get on the offense and start dictating. In other words, what you're saying, Pastor, start seizing your glory. Start claiming your victory right now. Start looking at God and say, this is what I'm going to have. I can have what I say I can have. I'm going to do what I say I can do. I'm going to be what I say I can be. Because my general is the Lord. I don't care where I am. It don't matter where I go to battle, because who I'm fighting for, the earth is his anyway. And the fullness. It got late in the game. It was 14 Central Standard Time to 21 Eastern Standard Time. And it seemed like they was mounting a comeback. And I'm not going to lie, by this time I had got a little uneasy. I remember friends' house standing around, walking, pacing, blaming it on the general instead of having faith. I saw all my friends, all these guys I played with and played against, that played at this school over in Alabama. All on Facebook that morning, it's War Eagle time. All morning, it's War Eagle time. I didn't say a word, Elder Marks, I just looked at it. I said, I wish they come to champions, I can show them. Actions speak louder than words. And I watched how the general regrouped and gathered his troops, and how they went out for their last series. And it was loud unbelievably in that place. But how they hunkered down. Come on. Oh, they hunkered down. I'm telling you today, man, sometimes they're the Billy. I don't care how the enemy come and who they got with them. All we got to do is hunker down. What you mean, Pastor, when you say hunker down? Stay in your saddle. Don't get off your horse. That joker might be jumping and running around, but stay in the saddle. Long as I'm in the saddle, baby, I'm still riding. Hallelujah. Last play of the game, we sacked them on fourth down. Eastern Standard Time. And when we sacked them, I looked and saw the whole sideline, from the general on down, celebrating. As we that was at home watching it on television, we were celebrating too. Because lions know lions, we all from the same bloodline. What a fight. You're going to stop making excuses and find a way. Get dirty. Get nasty. Hurt a little bit. Find a way. Let nothing separate you from the love of God. For God I live, and for God I die. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Do something that scares you. Do something that's bigger than you today. Don't wait till tomorrow, because that gives Satan time to trick you. Don't wait till you get in the car. Do it in here this morning. I challenge you this morning to get somewhere and be somebody. Starting today. You don't have to wait till Thanksgiving to feel a certain way. Now, feelings ain't enough. My feelings are when I'm accomplishing something that's beyond my scope. Oh, that's the feeling. I was telling the ministers in the back about Robin Williams, the comedian. Very successful, Patricia. Extremely successful. All he wanted to do was make people laugh. He was successful at it. Not on that one. He was successful. But then he got to the point, he said, I want to win an Emmy without making people laugh. He did it. He was well off financially. He made people laugh. Then he won great awards by not making people laugh. He was successful. But he killed himself. Because while he was successful, he was never fulfilled. Where are you today? Are you striving to be successful, or are you striving to be fulfilled? Are you worried more about your living room suit at Thanksgiving than your family getting together? You got the biggest house. Everybody need to come to your house. You're going to inspire some people, but I don't want them on my sofa. Why you buying it? Everything God gave us, he wants us to use. He said, put on some of the armor. He said, put on all the armor. Everything I made, I want you to utilize it. The same with the house. Don't get stuff in your house you worship where people can't sit on it. No, you bought it so people can sit on it. Now, don't let them sit on it and eat candy apples and all that. I get that. And make sure people can discipline their children. Let them come in the house. Obedience is better than sacrifice. If you're not obedient to my rules, take your shoes off at the door. Your kids ain't gonna run all over my house. Then the sacrifice is gonna be, I'm gonna put you back out the house. But at least I tried. Fulfill. You have to. Everybody stand up. I can't get into it because it's gonna take too long. God bless you. Put your hands together. If you need prayer, come on to the altar. We'll be glad to have you this morning. I don't care what it is. You might be a great Christian, but you're lacking in your personal development. You're lacking in hearing the true vision. Come quickly. Come. This is a